Hey, silver fans, this is Nate from B Grade Economics, and I just wanted to go over an indicator that I've kind of been following just in order to make essential price kind of trend indicator. And this one's really simple. This is something that almost anyone can use. I'll even get rid of any other indicator here just to make this as simple as possible. So what I do, and this is not the only thing I use, there's plenty of other things, RSI, MACD. I like technical analysis. You guys can tell me charts are useless all you want, but my returns on investment and risk management have said otherwise, so whatever. But what I'm going to go over here is the SILJ is an ETF for silver miners, right? Junior silver miners. And so this way it's not putting in some type of example that would have maybe some type of manipulation of the price by being an individual stock, such as AG. So when First Majestic started being flaunted at the time of the beginning of the silver squeeze, the price shot up immensely because it was very highly promoted. That's good for the stock, but not good for this indicator because it shows a difference in opinion on a specific stock as opposed to an ETF. So this ETF gives us kind of a general overview on juniors and people's predictions. And one thing I heard before, I think it was by E.B. Tucker, this was about 6 months back, was that when silver miners lead silver, the price of silver, you can be bullish. And when silver price leads, you can be bearish, because if the silver price is going up and it's lagging the stocks, it's likely that this is just normal price action, volatility, intraday volatility. And so if silver is leading the price action, it's likely that big investors are not looking for the leverage that these miners offer because they're not expecting that move to hold. This is just a base hypothesis, but what we can see in this performance is, let's start with the COVID crash, right? The silver miners start leading the downward spiral like before they end the peak before silver does, right? So they tell you that the equities markets are predicting something that the commodity is not yet, because the commodity has its industrial demands and everything else in play. So there's other factors that go into the commodity that equities are going to be a little more predictive of for those who are essentially exposed to a form of leverage. So the peak here starts earlier and falls, right? And then the day later, silver itself falls, right? So you have this indicator that, hey, we're going to start a downtrend. And sure enough, it generally leads that. The bottom here ties together. They both kind of move up together. And then you can see that, again, they're kind of moving in sync here, but you can generally see that you can get a lead point here, and this can indicate or help you follow that if you're not getting a recovery in the miners, you're probably not getting a recovery in the physical price. And then here we see the bottom for the miners was before the bottom in silver. It wasn't until March 18th that the Federal Reserve started talking about purchasing junk bonds. So they didn't really, even though they didn't do it, they didn't really set off a sentiment that equities are going to recover. So clearly we were pricing in that silver was becoming oversold here. And so the equities got bought up anyways, even though it took until 18 March for the actual response to kick in from the Federal Reserve. And the market basically realized that this is way undervalued for the price of silver, regardless of what type of productivity we're faced with in COVID, because this just was not sustainable as a monetary asset, right? So the miners told you the bottom was coming in very quickly. And so once they moved up, they led the price movement. And even though silver bottomed afterwards and it kind of dragged it, you saw the trend resume. So where we can see this continue to play out, over here we have this peak and both fall together, and then you have a kind of a uptrend, and then you have those miners continue up. And this kind of indicates that we're expecting the price of silver to continue to move up, even though you've got more sideways action than anything else in the actual price. So the equities are again kind of leading the charge here on telling you that, hey, the expectation of silver valuation is going to rise, and sure enough, it does. And so it can just be a sentiment indicator at the very least, but it's worth noting that this can give you some type of indication. Now, just because it moves up or down doesn't mean that silver is going to go down. It could just go sideways at different times and periods, but it's just something helpful to identify if you see weakness. And so how could we have used this recently? We'll go over to, let's start in October 2020. We kind of see sideways like volatility up and down, up and down. There's not really a key indicator, you know. You kind of see that you get like the bottom in the miners before you get the bottom in silver a lot of times. So that kind of is a helpful indicator. If you start to see an uptrend and you think you're on a support line in silver, you can say, oh, we're going to get a little bit of an uptrend here. Don't know how much, can't really identify that without other analysis, but it does give you a point. And so I wouldn't use this for micro moves day to day, but more like an intra-week indicator. And where else can we see this play out again? Let's go to, they twin peaked here in 10 June, right? And the silver miners kept falling, right? And so they preceded the activity falling in silver itself. And so you kind of get this like, you know, kind of freebie indicator that, hey, if SILJ is falling, silver is going to continue to follow that. And until you get a reversal pattern here, then you're not going to get any type of reversal. And even then you can get some stability in silver, but not actually get an upward move. But they're just things to consider on like, hey, where's the bottom going to be? What's the probability here that we can get a reversal? And so why I'm showing you this is because we'll see like tied bottoms, but then you look here and we see that we're oversold on silver. There's a bunch of other indicators that like this is pretty reasonable as a form of support. And look what we've got. We have a reversal here. So we'll probably see a bit of a reversal. I still stand by my assessment that we're probably going to go into some form of continued Wyckoff accumulation, so we probably won't exceed this high, but this is just showing you that the indicator could potentially be telling you that, hey, we might see a reversal here. We might just see silver go a little sideways and the miners jump a bit and then come back down because they tend to overperform both up and down on percentage moves. But yeah, just thought I would share this one because I have not really made too much use of it, but I have added it to my quiver here for making good calls on the price action in silver. So thanks for watching. See y'all later.